Welcome to r/am I the jerk, where this mum wonders if she's in the right or the wrong for demolishing her daughter's room when she goes to college. Now, the reason I chose this story in particular for this episode is because, as you can see, if you are watching on YouTube that is, I have moved into a new flat. And good news is, bang, the monkeys have made a return. One canvas is up on the wall, this canvas is still to go, but you know what? It's looking good. You guys asked for the monkeys and they're back. So, without further ado, let's get into this first story, which is very pertinent to my current situation. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Am I the jerk for demolishing my daughter's room after she moved out? My 18-year-old daughter, Meg, is in college. She moved in with her boyfriend a few months ago, which left her old bedroom empty. Her bedroom used to be right next to our tiny living room. To make our tiny living room into a normal-sized living room, we knocked out my daughter's room's wall, refloored the space, and fixed the walls. Now it looks like the bedroom was never there, and we have a spacious living room. When my daughter came home to visit and saw that her room is gone, she made a huge deal about it. She got all emotional and said if we never wanted to let her move back, we should have just said so instead of completely demolishing her room. I told her that if anything happens and she needs to move back, we will welcome her and she could sleep on the couch as long as she wants. But she accused us of wanting to get rid of her forever and for her to never visit us since we got rid of her room so fast, only a few months after she moved out, and we should have waited longer. So am I the jerk for not waiting longer with the renovation? Now you can probably see why this is pretty pertinent to me in this situation. Now, I'll be honest, I have already been to university and then I moved back in after I came back, and now I've moved out of my parents' home. But if my parents had done this without asking me when I moved to college, university, which is a temporary thing, right? After college, uni, you don't have a home. Where are you going to go? For me, I always knew I was going to at least move back in for a period of time. I didn't know how long, but I was always going to move back in. But for them to do this without asking you and not to change around your room, to completely destroy it is crazy. The only way this would ever have been fine is if they'd specifically asked you and you had said 100% yes after having a long time to think about it. Not a couple of months, a significant amount of time, because now if you ever want to move back in, you're done. And the fact that they didn't even ask you in the first place is nuts. So for a bit of context with me, now that I have properly moved out, I've said to my family and they've said, we're going to do it up, change it, because I had like a black wall and black shelves and black curtains that they don't really want. It's not the most welcoming thing, I'd argue. Fair enough. And they're saying, yeah, we're going to change it up, going to redecorate it because it needs to be redecorated anyway. And I don't live there permanently anymore. And I do have an official permanent new flat. So that's completely fine. And also, it will still kind of be my room. Like if I want to go back and sleep there at any time, yeah, the colors might be different, but it's still my room. Whereas in this spot, you have no room anymore. Your room is now a bigger living room. Yeah, fair enough. Maybe it benefits the entire house. But to go through all of that without talking to your daughter about it is mental. Am I the jerk for suing my parents for my college money? My great aunt set up savings accounts for all of her female relatives. In our culture, education for women is not really valued, and she thought that that was BS. She lived with her father in London where she was educated. She went on to attend university and became a doctor. She married a British man. They moved to America and had a great life. She funded the education of as many of her nieces and grandnieces as she could. When she passed away, she left money for every girl relative that she could. My parents managed to access the accounts that were set up for my sister and I. They used it to pay for my brother's wedding. My sister didn't care because she got married 2 years out of high school and had no intention of going to college. But when I graduated, I went to the bank to get money for school and it was almost all gone. There was like $13,000 left. I asked my parents about it and they said they'd needed the money. I finally found out where the money went. I was furious. I got student loans and moved out. I am a great source of shame to them and I don't give two Fs. I'm currently suing them for the money that was left for me. My entire family is against me. They all think I'm a complete jerk for airing private family business in public and that I'm putting money ahead of family. My friends are all on my side, but they're all Americans and don't really get my culture. Neither do I, to be honest. My brother called me up and offered to pay for my university if I dropped the lawsuit. I agreed as long as we had a legally binding contract. He said I was being a jerk for not trusting him. I said he should not have accepted my money for his wedding. It's causing all kinds of embarrassment in our community. I am somewhat ashamed to be doing this, but I don't want to have this debt that I should not have. OP, I completely agree with you. You're right. why would you want to incur debt that literally should not be yours? Your great aunt did this for a reason, so you didn't have to do this. And the fact of the matter is that your parents don't deserve this money. It's not theirs, and they've got it in a roundabout way that isn't really fair. So yeah, absolutely, I would sue. No more comments, really. You're definitely not the jerk, and they definitely are. The only problems you might have are the legalities of it all, and I can't really comment on that too much as I don't really know, but you definitely have to go through the process and see where you end up. Ultimately, that is your money and you need to get it. Am I the jerk for calling my sister stupid and her and her husband trashy parents from the start because of what they want to name their kid? Okay, so just a little context because this topic is incredibly touchy for me. I am a man who was given a woman's name at birth. A good example is naming your son Alice. It's not what my name was, but it's close. My parents are hippies and gave their oldest son a girl's name to stick it to the man, and I will never forgive them for it. That name caused me to be bullied and damaged my professional life in ways I cannot describe. My sister is pregnant with her first child, a girl. She and her husband are ecstatic. It just sucks that she inherited my parents' stupid propensity to see their children as fashion statements. Last night, she revealed to the family the name of her daughter. It's Crystal. Now guys, this is spelt KRXSTXL. She wants to name her daughter KRXSTXL. Confused, the name is pronounced Crystal. I already don't like the name, but it's at least appropriate. I was not surprised to learn that my mum helped come up with the name. When she told me, I told her it was a terrible idea. If she wants to name her Crystal, spelt properly. She tried to explain to me why the X's are there, and I just told her it does not matter. She's naming a human, not a dog. I don't care what kind of fashion statement she's trying to make. This is a person who will have to live with that name until they die or have it changed. She and my mum brushed me off as just complaining because I was never able to accept my name. I told my sister that she was being either selfish, stupid, or an incredibly strong combination of the two if she thinks her daughter will want a stupid name like KRXSTXL. We got into an argument and I told her I already see her and her husband as trashy parents for using their kid to be off-brand with her name, and then I left right after. My sister is not taking it well at all, and my mum is furious with me. I'm starting to wonder if I was too harsh. I won't change my opinion on that incredibly stupid name, but I'm wondering if branding her as a trashy parent was too far. I mean, let's be honest with each other, guys. Parenting begins when you decide on your child's name. That is a massive, massive factor. Imagine being a guy and being called Alice like OP. I mean, come on. That is criminal. Absolutely criminal. Nothing you can do will stop you from being bullied about that name. That is an absolute joke. And likewise, being called KRXSTXL, like it literally sounds like a website domain. She is going to get caned. And that's not her fault. That's her parents' fault. Ultimately, if you're doing something to your child which is causing them to be bullied at school, which is, let's be honest, what is going to happen, then that's bad parenting. Simple as that. And therefore, OP, you're completely correct. Am I the jerk for accidentally ruining my girlfriend's career? I'm in a tough spot right now, and I'm not sure if I'm the jerk or not. My girlfriend, who is 27, let's call her Sarah, and I'm 26, have been together for 3 years. She's always been passionate about her job as a teacher and has worked really hard to build up her career. However, a few weeks ago, I accidentally stumbled upon some photos of Sarah on Instagram that I'd never seen before. They were pictures of her in some very revealing clothing, and some of them were even nude. I was shocked and confronted her about it, and she told me that she used to be a lingerie model before becoming a teacher. She said she stopped doing it because she didn't want it to affect her career, and she thought I knew about it already. I didn't know how to react at first, but eventually I told a few of my friends about it. One of my friends is a gossip and ended up telling someone who works at the school where Sarah teaches. Long story short, the photos somehow got into the hands of the school board and Sarah was fired for unprofessional behavior. Sarah is devastated and blames me for ruining her career. She says that I should have kept my mouth shut and that I betrayed her trust. I feel terrible about what happened, but I didn't know that it would lead to this. So am I the jerk for accidentally ruining my girlfriend's career? Yeah, obviously. Why is that even a question? Why are you telling people about these Instagram photos? You've been told this in confidence. Look, I will concede that she should have done everything she can to try and take them down if she thought that this was ever going to compromise her career, which realistically it clearly was going to at some point, or would have done if it was leaked. But you're the one that's leaked them to your friends. What are you doing? Like, put yourself in that spot. I put myself in that spot right now, to be fair. If my girlfriend or wife or partner revealed to me that she had uncompromising photos on the internet that were gonna potentially ruin her career, I wouldn't say to my mates, oh, by the way, look at these cool photos of my girlfriend. Like, are you dumb? They're nudes. Yeah, not ideal them being there in the first place, but still, why tell people? Obviously, you're the jerk. Am I the jerk for selling the house my brother and his family live in? A few years ago, my brother needed help. I let him move into one of my rental properties, and we did it all legally. Lease agreement and everything. Because I was renting to him at a break-even point, we agreed that he was responsible for all the maintenance of the house and yard. Well, he has 4 kids, and the hot water tank isn't enough for his family, and he wants a new one. I told him to go ahead. He then proceeded to take the cost of the hot water tank and installation off of that month's rent. I reminded him of our agreements. He said he wasn't making improvements to my property for free. I said that the old hot water tank was fine and he made the decision to replace it. Big argument, and I didn't want to fight, so I said that he wasn't allowed to make any further changes to the house without my explicit agreement. So he stopped doing maintenance as a protest. The house itself is not pretty, but it is solid. It's old and the wiring in it was not meant for all the modern electronics we have. He wanted to add a new breaker box and run more outlets. I said, no thanks. I cannot afford that since I'm not making any money on the house. He started complaining about it and the rent started getting paid late. I tried talking to him, but he said that he had to buy some stuff for the house and he was low on cash. So I sold the house. While the house itself isn't great, it is in an older part of the city, and the property itself is a 1/4 of an acre. Every time a house sells in the neighborhood, it is snapped up by developers and turned into multi-family units. Or one guy built a McMansion on his land. I know a lot of the developers, and I didn't even need to list the house to have it sold in less than a week. My brother found out when he was served with an eviction notice. He called me to ask, what the frick? So I told him that the house was causing me headaches and I had an opportunity to make some money and I took it. He said I should have offered him a chance to buy it. I said that he was having trouble making rent. How was he going to qualify for a mortgage? He said I'm a jerk and that he has the money. He was waiting to make me an offer. I asked him if he had money, why was he late on his rent? He started bad-mouthing me to all our family. A few of them took his side and tried to say I was being a jerk, so I offered all of them a chance to clear his debt to me if they wanted to share their opinion. None of them took me up on the offer. My parents are on my side, and they said I shouldn't have rented to him in the first place. I feel bad for my sister-in-law and the kids, but I'm not going to spend the rest of my life subsidizing his. You know what? I don't think you're in the wrong here at all, because although this is your brother and his family, the fact of the matter is that it's your house. You can do whatever you want with it, just full stop. Yes, that gives you license to be mean, but you haven't been mean here. You've given your brother and his fam the benefit of the doubt. You give them lots of chances to pay rent. You know, they've been late for a while. They're doing things that you've asked them not to do. They're taking money off the rent, etc., etc. At what stage do you just say, you know what? No, that's enough. Like, you clearly are not good tenants. I'm done with this. I'm going to sell the gaff and take the money. And that's what you did. And I think, unfortunately, for your brother's family, that is completely fair. You've actually explicitly said in this as well that you're not making any money out of this. Therefore, I presume that you've rented to him at a pretty cheap price, maybe a family price, given that he is your brother. So it sounds to me as if you're doing him a favor in the first place. And you do seem quite accommodating as a landlord. But yeah, he's clearly just taking the mick. Get him gone. Am I the jerk for having a dry wedding and serving only water for drinks? Okay, so basically, my husband and I are getting married later this year. Each of our sides of the family are fairly big. It will be around 100 to 150 people total. My husband and I are paying for this all ourselves, as well as my grandma, who said she doesn't care one way or the other on this issue. She just loves weddings. We have a lot of kids in our family, so we decided against making it child-free. But we did decide to make it dry, so there will be no alcohol of any kind at our wedding. Honestly, this doesn't have anything to do with there being kids there, but due to the fact that my fiancé and I don't drink. Nothing against people who do, it's just not for us, and we don't want to. On top of that, we only really drink water. We rarely, if ever, drink soda, so most of the time it's only water with the occasional juice and milk. We don't even drink coffee. So obviously the food, which is a part my grandma is not paying for, is going to be expensive for that many people. We're having our wedding catered, so everyone will have a good choice of food to choose from, but to drink, only water will be provided. We don't want to have to pay for alcohol or soda. It's just a large added expense when we can just do filtered water for a much cheaper cost. Well, when family and friends found out, everyone got angry. Some didn't really care, but some are really upset about it, saying that I could just have an open bar so I don't have to pay for drinks. We could, but still have to pay for the bartender, and we just really don't want to bother with alcohol there. Or we should at least have soda, because how can we expect everyone to drink only water? The kids will be upset. The wedding will be boring, that this is not how weddings work, etc. So, am I the jerk? I didn't think that this would be a problem. It's only water. I mean, don't most people drink water every day anyway? Should we pay the extra to have soda to make the family happy? Okay, let's get one thing completely straight. There is no doubt in my mind that you do not have to serve alcohol at your wedding if you don't want to. For any reason. You don't have to accommodate people. It's your decision if you want to serve alcohol or not. And I completely back it. Look, I would argue that it's fun to have alcohol at a wedding, but if the bride and groom don't want alcohol there, that's tough. And you got to accept that. What I can't accept though is there only being water. That is where I think you are the jerk, because no, most people don't drink water every day. I mean, a lot of people do, of course, but not most people. To force everyone there to drink just water is harsh. It's meant to be fun, right? Fun, to me, is having more options on a menu than just filtered water. Yeah, chuck some juices in there. Chuck some soda in there. I mean, if I'm a kid going to a wedding and there's only water, not gonna lie, I'm throwing hands. I am throwing hands. I'm fuming. I'm gonna put some real pressure on the groom to get me a Diet Coke immediately, because that is an absolute farce. So yeah, as I say, nothing wrong with not serving alcohol. That's your decision. Only serving water? Nah. That is very controlling. And again, as someone sensible mentioned, just make it a bar that you have to pay for. You don't have to pay for it yourself. And how much is a bartender for a few hours? I mean, come on. Compared to the cost of an entire wedding, that is not expensive. Do the right thing. Give the people the drinks they want. Am I the jerk for asking my girlfriend to watch my favorite movies with me? Last weekend was my 28th birthday. My girlfriend, who is 25, had asked what I wanted to do, and I said I wanted to watch my favorite movie trilogy, Lord of the Rings. I don't think my girlfriend was thrilled, but she didn't say anything and agreed. She has seen them before, and I don't think she really likes them very much, but she knows I love them, so she doesn't really say anything besides they aren't really her thing. But I really wanted to make a date of watching them, and I went over to her house because she has a really big, comfortable couch. About 10 minutes into the first movie, and I look over and she is browsing on her phone. I was a little miffed, but didn't say anything. She basically scrolled through her phone the entire movie. When we started the second movie, she opened a bottle of wine and proceeded to drink the whole thing while still sitting on her phone. I was pretty irritated at this point because she wasn't even paying attention at all. The third movie started, and by then she'd opened another bottle of wine and was asleep within the first 20 minutes. I was really mad at that point and just left and went home. A few hours later, I got a text asking where I went. I told her I was mad that she couldn't pay attention to my favorite movies on my birthday. She told me I was a jerk and to grow the hell up. I've texted her a couple of times, but she hasn't responded. So, am I in the wrong? Wow, there we go. Back-to-back jerks, in my opinion, to end this episode. What do you expect in this situation? Your girlfriend has explicitly said to you she doesn't like these films, yet you are forcing her. Well, I mean, look, it's a tough one, isn't it? She's doing a great thing, in my opinion, by actually just sitting there with you. How long is the Lord of the Rings trilogy, by the way? You know what? I'm going to look this up on the fly. Lord of the Rings trilogy overall runtime. Now, my guess is about 10 hours. It's 11.2 hours. You're expecting your girlfriend, who doesn't like these films, and by the way, I sympathize with her because I don't really like them either. I know, controversial, but it's true. I actually have never actually properly watched them, so maybe you should have invited me to your birthday party and not your girlfriend, and we could have watched them together. But yeah, you're asking your girlfriend to sit on the couch and focus on something that she has said she doesn't like for 11.2 hours. Now, if that's me, I'm also turning to the wine, and you can't blame me. Come on. The fact of the matter is, she's been nice by even doing it in the first place. She's explicitly doing something she doesn't like, and I'm explicitly saying explicitly a lot here. That's how explicit her reaction could have been. Crazy, I know. But yeah, sorry. Doing something that you like on your birthday that you know someone else doesn't like as much, but it's gonna come along and do it anyway. That's fine, because it's your day. I get that. But forcing someone to sit on the sofa and focus for 11.2 hours is not fine. I'm sorry. It's just not. And yeah, you are the jerk. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this one. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you did and you want more from r/am I the jerk straight away, please do click this video on screen. It is so lovely. It really is. If you're not on YouTube, the link to that is also down in the description. My playlist of all my Am I the Jerk stories is right there for you to enjoy. If you're new to the channel, hit the follow button, subscribe, and I will see you guys all tomorrow for a brand new upload.